Hey, what's up, coach? Welcome back to the podcast. Today is episode 182. And I know at this point we're getting closer towards the end of July. And that means your summer is more than halfway done, I would think. And this is a good time to kind of go back and reflect on how is the summer going? Like, have you made steps towards starting your business? How is it going within your business? If this is your first summer of doing training, how's it going? And I'd love for you to reach out to me. I'd love to chat with you. I'd love to see how I can help you. And all you have to do is just go to our website, go to www.buildmysportsbiz.com and click on the mastermind button. That's a great way where you and I can chat and see what's up, see how we can help, and see how we can get you to that next level. Now, in today's episode, it's titled Against the Grain. And I'm going to tell you a story about something that happened. This is very early on with my business, and I can guarantee you can relate this to what you're doing. But back then, when I was first starting my business, this was many, many years ago, I started to see that, a lot of coaches that were doing quote unquote private training, they were doing things in like large group settings, like where there'd be like 20 kids and one coach. And it looked like this, it was like a factory of kids that would just come to sessions and they wouldn't get any personalized training. And then they would leave and then they'd come back a week later. And it was just like this extra day of training that these kids would get. And they'd just come train in a group. And yes, I feel like these sessions were quality. It wasn't like these sessions were terrible that they were going to. But I looked at that and I was like, you know what? Like, I want to do the opposite of what's going on. And I want to give more personalized help. And I want to train less kids. So this way, the environment is more exclusive for the players who are in attendance in my sessions. And back then, I will tell you, like private one-on-one training and small group training, it wasn't really a thing yet. And yes, there's other coaches in America who were doing it. Like, I'm not saying that I invented that. Because I read about many other coaches like in the 80s and 90s who have done that. And they've done private training, they've done small group training, and they stuck with that. Like, that was their niche. And I started to see, though, locally, like everyone was doing the opposite of that. They're just training kids in large groups. And I looked at that as an opportunity to be like, all right, well, if I do the opposite of what these coaches are doing, then I'm going to appear to be different, right? If I do the same thing that they do, then I'm just another coach who's offering the exact same thing. And how does this relate to you? Well, if you look at your market, you look at your competitors, I can guarantee you most people just do the same thing. Like, there's nothing unique about what they're doing. And what you want to do is create a unique program that stands out and it's in a category of one. And I've said this probably 100 million times over the last couple of years on this podcast, but it's like, if you just offer the same thing that someone else does, then both of y'all look equal. If you do something that's complete opposite, there's not everyone's going to be attracted to that, but guess what? Like, those who are going to want to do that. And that's why I built a big following, right, of parents in my city who wanted their kids to have private one-on-one training or small group training. That is different than what their kids are experiencing on their club teams or on their normal teams that they're on, right? So again, we need to go against the grain and look at what people do and do the opposite. And, I took that mindset with everything that I do, and I still do that. It's like, with all the content that I put out, I know most coaches who have had successful businesses would never be willing to create a podcast. They would never be willing to go on YouTube and talk about how they became successful. And I was like, all right, well, I want to be that guy. Like, why can't I do that? Why can't I be the person that does that, right? And I look at every little decision and I'm like, well, I'm just going to do the opposite of what everyone else does. And it's funny because I look at the coaches that have come through our mastermind, and a lot of these coaches have started off by offering the same thing that other coaches do. And then when they are, after a couple of months, they realize like what they offer is the complete opposite of what everyone else offers. And then ultimately they end up getting more clients. They end up making more money. They end up having more freedom in their life. And that's because they go against the grain. And I don't know why that's such a, I don't know why I have that mindset. But I know it works. And I know when you start doing that, when you do the opposite of what the herd of sheep do, then you start seeing better results. And so I hope you can take that and run with it. And again, if you have any questions for me, go ahead and reach out to me. Go to www.buildmysportsbiz.com and click on the mastermind button. And like I said, in every single podcast here, if you enjoy these episodes, make sure and leave us some feedback on iTunes. That means the world to me. All right, that's it. I'll see you tomorrow morning.